Hi everyone, and welcome to this deep dive into advanced dimensional analysis inside Business Central Insights. These features bring huge value across every single Insights app. They all benefit from these powerful features. Our goal in this video is simple: to help you understand exactly how dimensions work in Business Central, how Business Central Insights reads and enhances them, and how you can now analyze your data across up to 12 dimensions simultaneously, including hierarchies, totals, default dimensions, and even extended custom fields. So let's start right at the beginning. What actually is a dimension? In Business Central, dimensions are tags that are attached directly to posted transactions, ledger entries, or documents. They help you describe what, where, who, or why something happened. Examples include cost center, department, project, region, item group, industry, salesperson, and so many more. What's important to understand is this: transaction dimensions are stored directly on posted entries. They create a historically accurate picture of your business. No matter how your setup changes later, the values saved on the entry remain the truth of what happened on that day. Default dimensions, on the other hand, belong to master data, your customers, vendors, items, or GL accounts, and they get copied automatically when you create new transactions. And because default dimensions belong to the master data, filtering them by them can cut across the entire history of that customer or item. A simple example: if I change the customer group dimension on a customer card today, all future invoices will carry the new customer group dimension. Historical sales still show the original customer group because those values were written at the time of posting. Default dimensions behave differently. If I filter by customer group, the default dimension, I'm filtering based on the customer's current default dimension. So I'll see all transactions for that customer, even ones posted years before that customer group dimension was assigned. Our BCI Power BI apps support both behaviors: transactional accuracy from posted entries and full history filtering via default dimensions. Your dimensions are configured by default from the general ledger setup when the connector is installed. You can find them if you open the Power BI Insights connector in Business Central and go Setup per Company, then Dimensions, and then here you'll see a clear list of all your Business Central dimensions. You can add or change them, and if you have default dimension requirements, then you can configure them at the end here using the drop downs and choosing the relevant dimensions. So how do dimensions look in Business Central? Let's open an item card and find out. So you click items here, then click on an actual particular item. Let's choose touring bicycle. Click item again just up here, followed by dimensions. You'll see any default dimensions assigned to it. In this case, we've got item group. When you post a sales order, purchase invoice, or any transaction involving that item, these defaults are copied automatically to the resulting posted entries. Now, if you investigate the value entries, I'll just type in value in the search icon here, then click value entries and choose entry, then dimensions. You'll see exactly which dimensions were applied. The item's default item group is here, and then any other dimensions. These transaction level dimension values are what feed directly into the BCI reporting model. Let's see how BCI uses dimensions. All dimensional analysis is now handled directly inside the main cube reports. A quick example: if I scroll down in the item sales cube, you'll see all 12 analytical dimensions available for your company. Things like area, industry, item group, department, sector, and many more depending on your setup. One of the most powerful things you can do now is analyze your data by multiple dimensions at once. For example, I could take sales revenue and break it down by area, Then using control or command, department, then another layer, item group, salesperson, and even drill into sector. You'll see the plus signs appearing just beside the data, and then you just expand down those levels. In our example, you're effectively slicing the same dataset through 5 different lenses simultaneously, and the whole model remains quick, responsive, and easy to explore. Next, let's look at dimension hierarchies. Business Central allows you to create hierarchies using the dimension value type equals end total. This is where you define structured levels such as region to sub-region to country to city. You maintain this structure in Business Central using the totaling field and access it by going to dimensions. I'll just type that into search and then click dimensions. Then select the dimension. Let's choose sector. Then up to dimension again, and then on to dimension values. Here you can see ranges entered such as 100,100 to 101,199, and the dimension value type is end total right beside it. And that groups those values together and creates a hierarchy. In BCI, every hierarchy level becomes available inside the cube automatically. So if we pop over to the cube again, you will see sector level 1, 2, and 3, and then a detailed sector level. You can drill through the hierarchy exactly as it is defined in Business Central. If a dimension has no hierarchy defined, we hide the unused levels to keep your list clean. This avoids noise and prevents empty fields appearing in the cube. Sometimes you need a different type of grouping. For example, a custom cluster of states or industries that are not consecutive ranges, as end totals always need to be a range. This is where dimension value type equals total becomes useful. With total values, you can build completely flexible groupings using any combination of filters. A layout example here would be the previous range, then the pipe symbol, adding another code, another pipe symbol, before adding another range at the end, thus giving you flexibility to configure as it suits you. Another example can be seen here in the area dimension, where New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and ACT have been grouped together, and so forth with these other examples. BCI fully supports these total structures. In the cube, you will see a clean list of total values for the grouping you created. As you can see here in this example, industry has total in brackets there, or you got area total as well, which we can click and view along with area and create a hierarchy to expand down into. And then after we've done that, we can select some measures that you like using control or command, and with a few clicks we can add sales revenue, cost of goods sold, profit, and profit percentage, and in no time you have created a dimensional view that is tailored to your specific needs. Now, what about default dimensions? We support default dimensions such as items, customers, and GL accounts. These appear inside the cube as additional fields that are clearly labeled as default dimension, so you'll always know which field you are working with. They are hidden by default, and you can reveal them by setting Show More to True in the Filters pane. The powerful part is that the hierarchy and total logic also apply to default dimensions. If an item group default dimension has multiple levels defined in Business Central, you can drill through those levels in the same way you do with transaction dimensions. And after scrolling down here, I can click on the item group here, which is bracketed with default dimensions inside, and then add another layer. And then after that, expand down, and now you have a hierarchical view of these default dimensions. When would you use default dimensions in reporting? The main scenario is when a dimension has been introduced recently. Historical transactions will not have that dimension stored on the entry. By filtering with the default dimension instead, you can group your entire data set consistently, even if older transactions did not have a value assigned. Another example is the customer group here, and you will see any default dimension is always clearly labelled above the data here in brackets as default dim. Sometimes your business needs to group dimensions in a way that standard end totals or totals cannot provide. For example, you might want a custom region type field for your states or a team assignment for your salespeople that's not part of the existing dimension structure. This is where the BCI table extension framework becomes useful. You can add custom fields to dimension tables and bring those fields directly into Power BI for grouping, filtering, or drill down, which can also be done for multi-entity management fields. As an example of how table extensions work here within Power BI Insights Connector, you simply go to the Insights Connector, then Table Extensions, onto Dimension Table Extension Setup to configure them. Once in there, you can just choose the field ID from the drop-down, just as so. So currently, Finance and Purchasing Dimension 1 are supported, but we will be adding more extension points over time and if needed. To wrap up, Business Central Insights delivers the most complete and advanced dimensional analysis for Business Central users available today. You now have multi-dimensional slicing, allowing analysis across up to 12 dimensions at the same time. You've got full hierarchy support across all dimensions, flexible total groupings for ad hoc reporting, support for default dimensions such as item, customer, and GL default dimensions. You have drill down functionality through every hierarchy level and grouping structure, custom grouping fields using table extensions, and it's all optimized for performance and available across every Insights app. This gives you the ability to explore your data from every angle. Whether you're working in finance, operations, manufacturing, or projects, it doesn't matter, and it requires no advanced Power BI skills. You simply select the dimensions you want to analyze, drill into the levels that are relevant, and the insights become clear. Because your business isn't one-dimensional, so your reporting shouldn't be either. Thanks very much for your time and have a lovely day.